Well, a break here or there, I thought we had him.
Tim Kawakami, Mercury News. What did you see in the play where Draymond ended up kicking Steven Adams? It was your side of floor. Did you see that clearly?
I thought it was inadvertent. There's contact on the play. I was shocked they even looked at it. And Scott Foster told me that they were looking at it to either determine whether it was flagrant 1 or flagrant 2. And I was in shock because, there's inadvertent contact all the time on plays. So that really surprised me.
Would you be stunned, or would you think it's unfair if the NBA does look at that as a possible suspension?
Oh, I would think they would rescind it. No, honestly, stuff like that happens all the time. There's contact, people's arms, legs flailing. If they think it's on purpose, play the game. This stuff happens all the time. Westbrook kicks out his feet on every three, and there's contact, and it's just part of the game. So I don't understand how that can be deemed a flagrant 1. I think it should be rescinded.
Coach Michael Kenny, can you just talk about at what point did the game start to get away from you? Was it on the offensive side, defensive side, every single facet?
All of the above. I think it was like 40-40, maybe 42-40. Our second unit came in, did a really good job, and we were moving the ball. We started to get control of them defensively, and then we put our starters back in, and they stopped moving the ball. We were taking quick shots, which was just feeding their transition. It wasn't so much turnovers; it was more just bad shots, quick shots, no movement. We weren't forcing them to defend at all, and that's death here, because this team is athletic on their home floor. They're going to push the ball like crazy, and they got going in transition and just opened it wide open.
Dean Blevin, CBS, Oklahoma City. Steve, did games go this way back? When you played, it seemed that the Thunder was down 43 in their first game to San Antonio. They lose by 34, I think. You guys had them the other night. Now they get up 35 or so on you. What's up with the game today? Has the game changed where you have more blowouts like this?
I don't think it's changed at all. I was a Laker fan growing up, and I think it was about 1985. They lost Game 1 in the Garden by 45 points. They won the series. It happens.
Steve, Phil Barber, Santa Rosa Press, Democrat. Sometimes you'll hear a coach or a player say it's harder to come back mentally from a close loss, a last-second loss, than a blowout like this. Are you feeling like that now, or not particularly?
We got our butts kicked, so it doesn't matter whether it's 1 point or 30. It's you got to look at the tape and you got to figure out how you can be better, and then you come back with a better effort. But they were the more desperate team tonight. They were beating us to loose balls, to rebounds. And as I said, our quick shots just fed their transition, and they got their crowd involved. They were fantastic.
Barry Trammell with the Oklahomans. Steve, their small lineup with no Adams or Cantor really hurt you tonight, unlike in Oakland. What was it about that smaller lineup that affected you tonight?
It didn't really matter which lineup it was. It was, again, the quick shots fed transition, and when they're smaller, they're going to be a little faster. And so that was just happened to be the point where we really stopped moving the ball, stopped cutting, and all those quick shots with their fast lineup out there caused a lot of problems for us.
Steve, I know you talked about the offense fueling their transition, but your defense seemed like it wasn't anywhere near where it normally is. What specifically was the problem on that side of the ball?
They just outcompeted us. Often times in the NBA, the team that is a little hungrier, a little more desperate, they're gonna win the small battles. And against a team like this, you lose the small battles on their home floor, you're in big trouble. And that's what happened. We didn't compete hard enough or well enough to stay in the game. It's all troubling. When you lose by 30, it's all troubling.
Eric G., the franchise, going back to the flagrant one, that's when Oklahoma City went on their run. How much did the aftermath of all that affect you guys emotionally?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to answer that question. It was an important play, but when you lose by this much, you can't point to one play as being the difference, obviously. It didn't go our way, and we didn't respond very well afterwards.
Steve, Scott Osler, San Francisco Chronicle. Draymond was 1 for 9, minus 43. What does he have to do to come back? He's your leader on there, your emotional leader. What does he have to do now to get you guys back on track?
Just be himself.
Another Draymond question, though. I mean, you talk about the energy not being there or the competitive level. He is such a key part of that. Do you think he was competitively in this game as much as he usually is?
I don't think any of us were. I think, I didn't have him ready to play, obviously, and I didn't think any of our guys competed at the level, not just in terms of how hard we're playing, but in terms of using our brains and moving the ball and making them work. We didn't do any of that, and we got what we deserved.
Monty Poole, CSN Bay Area. Steve, it looked like the guys were not only taking quick shots, but they also missed a lot of shots, even at the rim. Can you remember a game at all in the last couple of years where they seemed to miss so many shots that were open or at the rim?
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to look at the tape to see that, but it did feel like we missed a lot of layups, a lot of shots around the rim, and our transition defense was bad. We did not have a couple of guys back. There was one play where we had all 5 guys underneath the foul line, and we got lucky. We made a deflection. Westbrook was running out, and we got a deflection and stole the ball. But you can't have all 5 guys below the foul line. You got to have a couple back, and so we were not there. We were not there, mentally or physically.
Ben Bulch, Los Angeles Times, back here. You talked about being down 2-1 in series, but how much different is this challenge with Westbrook and Durant and the way they're playing right now?
Well, every series is different. Every challenge is different. We were down 2-1 twice last year in Memphis, in Cleveland. Both times got blown out in Game 3, and we responded well. So, we have that memory. And I'm confident that we're going to come out and play a really good game in Game 4, and we'll see what happens.
Coach John Herrick, ESPN Radio, KCRC in Enid. When you play the Thunder and you've got Westbrook and Durant and all those guys, how much do you just know you've got to live with what they can do, and then what are the controllables that you worry about when you play against them?
Well, you've got to try to keep the easy stuff away from them, and that means taking care of the ball, running good offense, not giving them free throws. I think they shot 25 free throws in the first half. We were fouling like crazy. So they're going to have their points regardless, like they did in the first 2 games. But we can't give them the easy stuff in transition and the free throws like we did tonight. Thank you.